Hi Emily, how are you?
All right, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for joining me this morning.
That's
So you're doing the online course for parents, carers and practitioners. How did you come to find the course?
So I saw it on Facebook, and as we're in lockdown at the moment, it just felt like the right time to do something online. I knew about some of the stuff that Michelle was doing, but I don't live in Liverpool, so therefore I can't kind of come to the face-to-face things. And yeah, I just felt like I read all the books when I was pregnant and in those first baby years, and actually I hadn't really engaged with much beyond kind of what the school was kind of doing, and I felt like it just feels like the right time because my daughter's 9 and therefore we're going to go through a big change probably over the next few years with her. So I found it on Facebook, and it was just really easy to do the taster and then join up.
Great. And have you ever done a course online before?
Not like this, no. Not like a meeting every at a set time every week for 10 weeks.
Yeah. And how are you finding the sessions?
Brilliant, really enjoyable. I always think a sign of a good course or anything is the time goes really quickly. I look forward to the time, and it goes really quickly, and suddenly we're kind of wrapping up and it's the end, and I feel energized by it. I don't feel kind of weighted down by it. There's not too much kind of homework or anything like that. I feel like I can just it just kind of ticks along in my brain over the week, and I think about things and realize that I'm changing the way I'm doing things kind of almost subconsciously.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's quite a slow and gradual change. So on that note, what have you changed? Have you changed anything intentionally, or have you just kind of noticed accidentally that you're dealing with things differently?
So I've removed why questions. I've got 3 kids aged 9, 7 and 4. So it's often there's an argument and you go straight in with the why did you do that? And I've taken that why out, and I think the best question, and we're only in week 3, so I haven't covered all the questions yet so much, but Michelle has shown us kind of what the questions are, and the what happened question has come up time and time again over the last 3 weeks, and I really like the fact that we're also then doing exercises to apply them to real life. So I'm not a practitioner, but there are practitioners and there are people who work with young people in the group. I'm just coming at it as a parent, but it's all about finding what works for you and your kids, really.
Yeah, great. And so obviously it's an acute situation, lockdown, we're all kind of, everything's intensified. Do you think it's particularly relevant now to be doing restorative practice? It kind of, what's your understanding, I suppose, of restorative practice? And
I hadn't come across restorative practice much. I'd heard someone give a talk about restorative justice, and I found it absolutely fascinating that he basically met his attacker and spoke to them, and there was a really amazing kind of outcome from it. And I thought that was the first introduction to restorative justice. I had no understanding that there was this link between the two. I think right now we're living in a very intense situation at home, whereby we're parenting, we're teaching, we're kind of taking all these roles, and suddenly kind of the lines are all a little bit blurred, whereby the children would have gone off to school and had their education and come home again, and I would have kind of been working, my husband would have been going to work, whereas now at home we're all together all the time trying to do our best. And so actually to do this course at this time is certainly kind of, I feel like it's actually very calm at home, and that will partly be to do with the course, because actually I'm just kind of bringing things to my own kind of higher up my own kind of conscience, I suppose, thinking about things a bit more.
Great. And some of the sessions we've done, we've kind of suggested activities to do with children and young people. Have you had a go at kind of teaching your children any of the content about, you know, the developing the emotional language or the brain?
Yeah, we've talked a bit, and they're aware. They do something called Mind Up at school, so they are aware of their brains more than we were at their age. I mean, I think they are very much aware of mental health in schools. I do spend a lot of time trying to get them to explain to me what they mean by a certain word that they might use. And the emotional language session that we had just this week, I think I'll do more on that, and I'll print off the sheets that you supplied, because their interpretation and their definition of a word will be very different to mine, because they just don't have the language. But actually, if I can help them to express themselves a little bit better, and actually, instead of being frustrated, actually maybe they are angry or annoyed or whatever it might be, find a better word for it. So yeah, I'm using it. It's more for me, but I need to kind of talk to them a bit more about it. But things like, we, at the end of every day, we're eating together, which is a really amazing thing of lockdown. And actually every day at dinner we ask, what's the best thing about today? And obviously we're living in this kind of Groundhog Day, but they are able to always find something, and it's kind of getting them to talk about that and what that means to them. It's kind of working.
Brilliant. Well, it sounds like you're doing a fantastic job, and keep it up. Looking forward to the next 7 sessions, and to hearing more about how you're putting it into practice. Have a lovely day. Thanks, Emily. Take care. Bye. Bye.